What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another college basketball video. It is Wednesday, November 5th. I've got my favorite college basketball plays that I want to dive into here with you guys in this video off of this slate here tonight. But before we do that, we do got to jump over there to the Guy Boston Sports website. That's where I list all of my final plays after each of these videos. So make sure you check down there into the pinned comment. You'll find a link down there that's going to send you right over there. And that's where you're going to find all of those final plays listed for free. So let's go ahead and jump over there and recap our plays from opening night. See what we put in then and how that all ended up going down. We definitely would have hoped for a better start there on opening night, right? But that's why we kept things light. That's why we kept things conservative, man. Only put 4 plays in. We only cash on one of them. 1 and 3 overall on the night. We took Florida on the money line. They don't cash for us. Arizona comes through with the dub there in that one. We also took the total under in that one. They flew well up and over the mark. So 0-2 overall in that game there. We took Lehigh and Houston a total under 137.5, and that one does cash our only green check mark on the night because BYU, they get the dub, man, but they can't pull out a dub by 8 points for us and get the cover, so we don't cash there as well. 1 and 3 overall. Like I said, man, not how we wanted to start out the college basketball season, but look, we're going to look to bounce back here and have a better second night and start digging ourselves out of that little bit of a hole that we created there on opening night, right? Let's go ahead and find some profit, man. Find some value on the board. Let's go ahead and do just that, man. Let's dive into these picks here. Smash that like button down there for me if you can. Hit subscribe if you have not already. Let's get into this first play, man. I'm going to be looking at that Rider and Rutgers game. I'm going to be looking at the total in this one. Now, look, Rutgers, they've lost 2 key players in Dylan Harper and Aces Bailey to the NBA, and it's the biggest reason that I'm hesitant to pull the trigger here with Rutgers on the spread. Right, it's sitting at 18.5. It is appealing though, man. You know, Rutgers has had a lot of success against mid-major teams. They're 16-1 all-time against Rider, including a 30-point beatdown the last time these two teams met. They've been dominant in openers under Coach Peichel as well, man, and their defense in his time as head coach when facing lesser talented teams has been stifling, especially when they play at home. The losses of Bailey and Harper combined with integrating new transfers, that's the only thing that's holding me back here on the side right now, man. I can see some mistakes early on, right? Communication errors early on in the game as well. But like I said, I don't mind looking at the under here in this one or looking at the total. I didn't say yet, but I just gave it away. I'm looking at the under here in this one, man, because even through major roster changes, Peichel's teams have always been built on playing stifling defense that result in low scoring games, especially at home. This has me leaning towards an under pick, man. Rutgers, they're going to look to slow things down and wear their less talented opponent down, right? That's just what they're going to look to do here, right? Or they're coming in off of a blowout loss to Virginia, in which they can only muster 53 points. It's going to be their second game in 3 days as well. They averaged only 67 points per game as a whole on the year last season. So between the slow pace that Rutgers is going to look to play at, their defensive prowess, and their just overall dominance over Rider, I like under here in this one because you got to figure even if it's a blowout, man, a Rutgers blowout is more likely to be a low scoring something in like the 70 to 45 ish range. You know what I mean? So I think this line is just too high, sitting up there in the upper 140s. The mid 140s to upper 140s. So I'm going to be looking at an under here in this game. Next up, going to be looking at Southern University and Marquette. Looking at Marquette laying 21.5 points, which is a lot, right? But we're going to dive right into that, man. The Southern University Jaguars, they are playing their second high major road game in 3 days after opening up the year with a 109-77 loss at 14th ranked Arkansas on Monday. Now, Marquette, they played on Monday as well, but they took down Albany 80-53. They're going to be home for this one. And they have the advantage of a quick turnaround, right, in a familiar environment under veteran coach Shaka Smart. Marquette has emphasized high energy with an up-tempo pace, and that's naturally led to some higher scoring games, man, bigger margins when they take on inferior opponents as well. Marquette's ability to create turnovers, which has just become a common staple here and common theme in the, Shaka Smart system, right? It leads to easy fast break points. Now, in their season opener, Marquette, they showcased their depth and they finished the game with 13 kills, right? That's 3 consecutive defensive stops. They coupled that with a balanced offensive attack led by Chase Ross and Zayd Lowry. So Southern, on the other hand, man, they lost by 32 points to Arkansas, showing their vulnerability right against these major conference teams, the physicality that they bring to the table, especially defensively and on the glass, right? They gave up over 100 points, allowing Arkansas to hit for 109 on them. So Southern also figures to be without their head coach. He was ill for that Arkansas game. He's expected to miss this one as well, just adding another disadvantage for the Jaguars here in this one. So 21.5 points is a large spread for sure. But the combination of Marquette's high pace offense, their home court advantage, and strong defense, right? It all points towards me leaning towards a Golden Eagles blowout here in this one. So Coach Smart's emphasis on defensive kills, man, transition scoring, that should all help Marquette score enough points to help cover here in this one, in my opinion. So, gonna be leaning Marquette their way with those 21.5 points. Even with that larger spread, man, I think they get it done here. I'm gonna be looking at North Dakota State taking on UC Davis. I'm gonna be looking at the total in this one as well. Now, UC Davis, they've established a program that prioritizes defense and a slow, controlled tempo, right? That's the pace that they like to play at. Now, with this being a home non-conference game, they're likely going to try to dictate the pace by minimizing North Dakota State's offensive possessions, and try to keep them off the three-point line where they have had some success in the past. Now, obviously, we're still, in the first week of the season, which generally favors the defensive end as offensive struggle with shooting, consistency, and, gelling as a unit after roster turnover, which North Dakota State also experienced. They've lost, key pieces to the portal here in the offseason. And turnovers and poor outside shooting in their opener was a issue, right? They went just 6 of 31 from 3-point range in that opening game. You look at these two, the last time they met, it resulted in a really low total of 121, way under that current line of 142.5. Now, the main risk, looking at it under here is if UC Davis's opener and that 96 points that they scored is a sign of like a much faster tempo that they're going to look to play at here in this 25-26 season. But repeating that here against a Division One opponent like North Dakota State, putting up 96 points like they did against a non-Division One team in their opener and essentially a warm-up game. I feel like that's an outlier here. It's not really too likely that we see that again here. So I'm going to be looking at an under here in this game as well. That is going to wrap it up for today. I hope you found the show helpful and useful. And if you did, please do not forget to smash that like button on your way out. Hit subscribe if you have not already. And that is going to do it, guys. Hope you guys all have yourselves a great night and cash out. I'm going to see you back tomorrow for the next one.